right, it is May 22nd, and we are bringing you our updates for the week and looking forward. So let's just get started with it. So the spring is almost done. All of our 15U and 17U teams have finished their seasons for the spring, and this weekend we've got the 13Us and 14Us going to Phoenix. So it's been a great spring, and we've learned a lot. And there's a couple of things that we will address in the email that's being sent to all the families. But a couple of things that we definitely learned was, first of all, we kind of looked at the younger teams, the 13s and 14s, and we listened to some of the feedback that our parents had sent us. And we decided that it was probably a good idea to revisit that summer schedule and make a couple of changes that kind of kept things a little more local and value-based as far as where we're going to play and who we're going to play against and where we're going to go. So we'll get to that, but we have made a couple of adjustments for the 13 and 14U teams this summer. And the other thing that we've learned, and I think we all learned this, and hopefully we can make our adjustments for the summer, is that airline travel, when you're in the Northwest, traveling anywhere beyond the West is tough, especially if you have a connecting flight. We already knew it was going to be challenging, but it seems for whatever reason that there's a lot more delays, and so just a lot harder to find connecting flights that make sense and airlines that make sense. So one thing that we learned, and this is going to be reflected, I think, in our travel this year or this summer, is if you have a connecting flight, give yourself plenty of room on that layover time, because there seems to be a lot of delays. So when you're booking flights this summer, try to give yourself 3 hours if you can. I know that's not always possible, especially when the windows are limited, but if you can, give yourself extra time, because, man, once that first flight gets delayed, it sure makes everything else a lot more difficult. So that's one thing. And then for the tournaments, leaving Sundays, I would recommend leaving as late as possible. I know that makes it a little inconvenient as we get later in the days, but without school this summer, maybe it's a little easier to leave later. But the tournaments are showing that they are willing to play games later in the afternoon, and that can mean catching those flights harder. We push really hard on those directors to have the games for our teams be done earlier, but sometimes they're just limited in space and just can't make it happen. They're not able to accommodate us. So if you can get flights later, Sunday evenings, that is just going to be probably a safer solution, and that's what we are going to try to do with our coaches' flights moving forward, and we will have that information as we get it posted online. So this weekend, our 13Us and 14Us will be in Phoenix. The schedule did come out. That link is in the email we sent. Actually, I'll put it in the description for the video too. Keep in mind that, again, there's a couple of 2:30 games in there, and I know people have tight flights on that one. We're trying to get those moved, but if they don't, just be ready. We may have to make some adjustments on the fly, and I guess that's just part of AU basketball. We are working on it, but I don't know what they're going to do. There's no guarantees, so just be ready for that. Also, every player that's going, they have the facility they're in does require everybody to sign a waiver release of some sort. So in the email is that link, and you can go fill it out. It's free to fill out. I believe you can do it from your phone. Just needs to get done before your first game, but please make sure you do that. One of the things that these tournaments love about Select is that we always have all of our paperwork dialed in before we get somewhere and before we do anything. So let's keep that rolling and get that paperwork filled out so that we are not the problem, and that they'll keep loving us because we're not a headache. So let's get that done. That is in the link. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, let your coach know what your plans are for this summer, and they will let me know and our staff know at the office who intends to do what. From that point, we will look and see. I know some people were going to do spring only, and now they want to do the summer, and we can make the adjustments on our end. Same thing if you were going to do the summer and maybe you got hurt, or if you're a senior and you signed somewhere and you're like, look, I'm good, I don't need to play, I already got what I want. Let us know. We'll make the adjustments on our end, even if you don't remember what you were doing, and we will then compile all this information and we will let everybody know. Also, as we have tryouts this weekend to fill in these roster spots, we need to know where they're at. We need to know what those roster spots are for the different teams. So this is one way that you can let us know and help us out is if you're playing, let your coach know. We won't have to fill your spot. If you're not playing, we need to look for a replacement, and we will do that. We just need to know. So communicate with your coach. As mentioned, those tryouts are going to be this Saturday at a Wiehardt, and they will just be to look at players that want to fill in those roster spots. If you know anybody that might want to join the program that isn't currently a part of it, maybe they had spring sports, maybe they're just looking for a new opportunity, feel free to forward that information onto them. We'd love to see them and see if they might be a fit. I just wanted to jump back into this. So we mentioned we learned some things this spring about, especially with the younger kids, about traveling and doing things appropriately. We're having some windstorms here, so the electrical's a little off, so we'll see how this goes. But we wanted this summer to reflect what's really important for them and what makes the most sense. And I know initially I had sent out sort of a tentative, hey, here's what we're thinking for the summer. We've made adjustments to that, and we now have what's going to be a better schedule for them, and there's going to be 2 different schedules, one for the 13s and one for the 14s. And I'll let you jump in there and read it in your email, but the 13 is going to reflect more of a local value type of schedule. The 13Us also are in a great position in the sense that they don't have high school stuff yet, so we can actually do something in June, which we can't do with any of our other teams. So we found a way to do that. But it will be something that is good for competitive and for development without breaking the bank and having to go anywhere. And we have some ways to adjust that. For the 14s, still going to be more local than what we originally planned. But in a good way, and still going to provide great competition, and we have some ways of doing that as well. So check that out, and hopefully, I think you're going to like it if you're at that age group. But it's just, like I said, it's a lot of reflection on what we observed combined with the feedback we got, and try to make the best of it. And by the way, if you do have feedback, we will always listen to feedback. Now, the more, there's 2 ways to give feedback, right? There's this really sucks and you shouldn't have done that and do this instead, right? There's that approach. And then there's hey, we were just thinking about it, some reflections, some information for you. Obviously, we're going to take the second way a little better because it feels like it's coming from a genuine place as opposed to maybe a place of frustration. Obviously, changes come from frustration often, but forming them in a respectful way is the way to go. And we got a lot of that type of response this year, which was great. And we're learning, as always, we're always trying to make things better. So send your feedback in a respectful manner, and it will get heard. I can't guarantee it's going to be implemented, but it will be heard and considered. This is part of the office meetings that we have with our staff all the time, and we take that and we integrate it in there and at least give it some consideration. So, and that is how we came to some of these summer decisions for the younger teams. So there you go. If you want feedback, please send it over. We do read it all. We just appreciate it when it's done in a nice laid out way that makes some sense. Okay. The summer, there's also information on the summer stuff. We are still working on flights for our coaches. We'll have that soon, and we'll get that posted up there so that if you want to start making those purchases to get your teams into Phoenix and Indianapolis this July, you can match up with what we're doing with our coaches. And there's also where the hotels are staying. I know some people had mentioned as parents they just want to get an Airbnb near the event place, so that is in there as well. We don't have any more our scheduled workouts on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Those have come to an end. We don't have any more workouts scheduled. At this point, most of the high school players are just doing open gyms. They have their own weekend workouts. They have their own weekend tournaments. You're going to get plenty with your high schools. So we don't have any more schedules. I just don't want you showing up somewhere and then nobody's there. We do not have any more workouts planned. For anybody looking for more gear, we will have an online store opening up soon. we will have the usual select apparel and a selection on there. But if you are looking to get different shoes, you want more shoes, if your shoes are wearing out or you just want a different pair, or you need some socks or something like that, that should all be on there. And once we get that up and running, we'll obviously send out a notification, but that is coming soon. We've just been getting questions on that. Also, if you, pertains more to the older players, but as you receive college offers or you make a commitment to a college, if you want to send that information to us directly, we would be happy to put together a graphic for you and let you share it with whomever, friends, family, social media, whatever it is. We just need to know about it. Most of the information that we get in our program, whether it's for our high school season stats or our offers and commitments or things like 1,000-point clubs, those are all based on what people send us. There's no way for us to track 200 players in 7 different states. But if you send it to us, then we have it. And that is how I would say 90 to 95% of the information that we put out is user generated. It comes from you. And as long as it has, long as it's valid, we're happy to share it. We love creating graphics. It's a great way for us to share what you're doing. So feel free to send that over to me or DM us on any of the socials. Send us an email, whatever. We're happy to put that in there. So to go along with those lines, inside that email, and actually I'll put this in the comments description area as well, or the description of the video. We have a running list of all the players that currently have offers or have committed from our program right now, and the list is fairly extensive. So I'm gonna put that in the description. And you can take a look at it. But yeah, if I'm missing anybody that was in our program, or you have some information you want to send over, please do. We love it. We love hearing that stuff. So yeah, for the most part, that's it for the week. I'll be out next week, so I won't be able to send out updates next week. But the following week, we'll get back on it. And in the meantime, good luck to our 13 and 14 U's. They wrap up the season this weekend. And of course, all of the players that are going to be playing with their high schools, keep working, keep improving, and take what you've learned this spring, take it back to your high school, make your team better, help your teammates out, see what they learned this spring, and just put it all together and have a very successful summer. It's the foundation for your upcoming school year, and it's really important. So make sure you get in there and give it everything you got, and then we will be seeing everybody again in July when we start back up. Thanks, and we'll see you real soon.